Welcome back to the Quarterly Call. All content is for informational purposes and is not investment advice. Please consult with an investment professional.
Always great to be here.
So, Alibaba Group, their Q3 2025 results just came out. And, some pretty interesting stuff in there.
Yeah,
They're focusing, it seems, on two main things. One, e-commerce.
of course.
And two, this AI plus cloud computing thing.
Right.
Now, we all know e-commerce. That's their bread and butter.
Hmm.
But this AI thing, that's what's really got me intrigued.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. It seems like they're putting AI into everything they do.
Yeah, exactly. And not just like, a little bit here and there. We're talking about like full-on integration, like everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. And the growth, I mean, their AI products have been growing like crazy. Triple digits for 6 quarters in a row. That's got to tell you something.
Yeah, that's wild. And they're not just talking about it. They're putting their money where their mouth is. This huge investment plan for their cloud and AI infrastructure, like billions of dollars, more than they've spent in the last decade combined.
Oh, yeah. It's a massive commitment.
So what's the big idea? Why are they going all in on AI like this? What's the end game?
Well, it all comes down to AGI, artificial general intelligence.
Mhm.
Imagine AI that can do like almost anything a human can do.
Whoa, okay, hold on. You're talking about AI that can, like, write code, analyze financial reports, like, think for itself.
Yeah, pretty much. They believe AGI could potentially handle something like 80% of human capabilities.
80%.
Mm.
Okay, now we're talking about some serious disruption. Like, this could change everything.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. They're saying this could disrupt nearly half of the global economy that relies on manpower.
Wow. Okay, so they're not just messing around. Alibaba is, like, leading the charge on this whole AI revolution.
Definitely. And they see the cloud as the kind of the foundation for it all, the platform to build and deliver all these AI applications.
So the cloud is, like, the engine driving all this AI stuff.
Yeah, you could say that. Think of it like electricity and the power grid, right?
Right.
Without the grid, electricity is useless. The
Right.
cloud is like that for AI. It's the infrastructure, the backbone.
Okay, that makes sense. So how's this playing out in the real world? Like
Yeah.
on Taobao, their e-commerce platform, what are they doing with AI there?
Oh, tons of stuff. They're using AI to personalize the shopping experience, make it more engaging, and ultimately more efficient for the user.
So like making shopping more intuitive and more valuable for the consumer.
Exactly. AI can understand your shopping habits, your preferences, help you decide what to buy, streamline the checkout process. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. And they've already got AI products out there, right? Like Quark, their search engine, and that Tongi Conwen language model thing.
Oh, yeah, those are huge. People love them. They're already changing how people search, how they work, how they create content.
It's wild how fast this is all happening.
Yeah.
And they're putting AI in DingTalk, their work platform, right?
Hmm.
And AIM-app, the collaboration app, is becoming like this whole AI-powered lifestyle thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like with DingTalk, they're talking about using natural language to interact with your CRM and ERP systems. Imagine that, just talking to your software.
That's nuts. Okay, so they're clearly all in on AI, but, gotta ask the tough question, what about the bottom line? All this investment, it's got to be hitting their profits, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the cloud with all those upfront costs.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. But they're banking on this huge demand for AI inference, which is driving a lot of the growth in the cloud right now.
Okay, so even though they're spending a lot up front, they're betting that this AI wave is going to bring in even more revenue down the line.
Exactly. They're playing the long game. They think that as their cloud infrastructure scales up and they get more customers, those margins will improve.
So basically they're saying, trust us, this is going to pay off big time in the future.
Yeah, pretty much. But they're also not ignoring their shareholders. They still have a lot of money set aside for share buybacks. They're committed to shareholder value.
All right, well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
So they're investing heavily in AI, but they're also keeping an eye on the bottom line and their investors. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely a story we'll be watching closely. Yeah, it's like they're making a huge bet on the future of AI.
Right. But they're not the only ones in this game, are they? I mean, competition's pretty fierce, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, both in China and globally, everyone's trying to get a piece of this AI pie.
So how do they plan to stay ahead? What's their secret sauce?
Well, they're constantly innovating, developing new models, pushing the boundaries. But I think one of their biggest advantages is data.
Ah, yes, the data. I mean, they have a ton of it, right?
Mm.
With all their different businesses.
Mountains of it. And data is the fuel for AI. It's what makes these algorithms tick. The more data you have, the better you can train your models.
Right, makes sense. But it's not just about having a lot of data, right? It's about knowing what to do with it.
Exactly, and that's where Alibaba really excels. They have the expertise, the know-how to turn all that data into something valuable.
So using AI to make better decisions, to improve the user experience.
Absolutely. I mean, look at their recommendation engines, their marketing campaigns. It's all data-driven.
So they're like building this massive data engine that's powering all their businesses.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. They're not just an e-commerce company anymore. They're like this, global tech powerhouse.
It's a pretty wild transformation to watch.
Yeah.
But let's zoom out for a second. Why should our listeners care about all this? How does this AI revolution affect them?
Well, this isn't just some, Silicon Valley thing. This is going to impact everyone. How we work, how we shop, how we live.
You're saying it's not just hype. It's a real shift that's going to change things for everyone.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. The way we interact with the world, it's all going to be mediated by AI.
So should we all be like learning to code? How do we prepare for this AI-powered future?
Haha. Well, learning to code is never a bad idea. But the key is to stay informed, stay curious, be adaptable.
Yeah, good advice. It's easy to get overwhelmed by all this tech stuff, but it's important to stay engaged.
Yeah, the world's changing fast. The people who thrive are the ones who can adapt, who can embrace new things.
All right, so we've talked about Alibaba's vision for AI, their investments, their data advantage. Let's talk about the big picture. What are the major trends in AI right now, and how might they affect us?
Ooh, that's a big question. Well, one trend is that AI is becoming more accessible thanks to open source platforms and the cloud. Anyone can use it.
So it's not just for big companies anymore.
Nope. Small businesses, even individuals, they can all tap into the power of AI now.
Wow, that's exciting. So we could see all sorts of new applications and services popping up.
Oh, absolutely. It's like democratizing innovation.
I love that. What else is happening?
Well, another big trend is automation. AI is getting so good, it can automate more and more tasks.
Oh no, are the robots coming for our jobs?
With some jobs, maybe. But it also creates new opportunities. The key is to develop skills that complement AI, not compete with it.
Right, so it's about working with AI, not against it.
Exactly. It's about figuring out how to use AI to enhance our own abilities.
Makes sense. Anything else we should be watching out for?
Well, ethics is becoming a huge issue. As AI gets more powerful, we need to make sure it's used responsibly, ethically.
Yeah, that's a really important point. It's not just about building cool tech. It's about building tech that's good for humanity.
Exactly. It's a conversation we all need to be having.
So it's not just about the technology. It's about our values, our choices.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's up to us to decide how we use AI and what kind of future we want to create.
So bringing it back to Alibaba, how are they approaching these ethical considerations? Are they walking the walk?
Well, they've made some public statements about responsible AI development, and they've set up an ethics committee to oversee their AI projects, so they're definitely aware of the issue.
Okay, so they're at least taking some steps in the right direction.
Yeah. And they're participating in industry discussions, working with policymakers, so they're not just doing their own thing, they're trying to be part of the solution.
That's good to hear. Companies like Alibaba, they have a big responsibility to lead the way on this stuff.
Absolutely. Their actions can have a ripple effect across the entire industry.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. Alibaba's AI vision, the big trends, the ethical considerations. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more thing.
Okay, what's that?
The human element. It's easy to get lost in all the tech talk, but at the end of the day, AI is a tool created by humans for humans.
That's an important point. We shouldn't forget that. AI should be used to enhance our lives, not replace them.
Exactly. It should serve us, not the other way around.
And that means understanding human needs, human values. We need to build AI that helps us create a better world.
A world where AI is used to solve problems, to foster creativity, to promote well-being.
A world where technology empowers us, not controls us.
Yeah, a world where the human spirit is still at the center of everything.
That's a beautiful vision.
It is. And it's a reminder that even though AI is powerful, it's up to us to decide how we use it, what kind of future we want to build.
It's a future we're all creating together.
So as we wrap up this discussion on Alibaba and AI, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
The AI revolution is happening now, and it's moving fast. Alibaba is just one example. This is a fundamental shift that's going to change everything.
So it's not just a fad, it's a real force that's going to reshape our lives.
Absolutely. And it's going to affect all of us, not just businesses. The way we live, the way we work, everything.
So it's not a question of if, it's a question of how, and we all have a role to play in shaping that how.
Yeah. We need to stay informed, stay curious, and be ready to adapt. We need to talk about the ethical implications and work together to make sure AI is used for good.
That's a powerful message. The future of AI is not set in stone. It's something we're all building together.
And it's a future with both amazing opportunities and potential challenges. We need to be prepared for both.
So we've talked a lot about Alibaba and their vision for this AI-powered future. But what did we actually learn about their current AI strategy from this latest earnings call?
Well, one of the key things they highlighted was how they're integrating AI into their existing businesses, like Taobao, for example, their e-commerce platform.
Right, Taobao. So what are they doing with AI there?
Well, they're talking about using AI to personalize the shopping experience, make it more engaging, and, just overall more efficient.
So like using AI to make shopping smarter.
Exactly. AI can analyze all that user data, figure out individual preferences, maybe even predict what people want to buy before they even know it themselves.
That's pretty wild. So they're making shopping more intuitive, more tailored to each person.
Yeah, that's the idea. And also streamlining the whole transaction process, making it easier and faster to go from browsing to checkout.
Okay, so that makes sense for e-commerce. But what about, applications beyond just shopping?
Oh, they're definitely thinking bigger than that. Like with DingTalk, their enterprise collaboration platform, they're talking about using AI to revolutionize the way businesses work together.
So how does that work?
Well, imagine being able to interact with your CRM or ERP system, those complex business software systems, using natural language, like just talking to it.
Well, okay, so no more struggling with complicated interfaces or menus.
Exactly. It could be a huge boost to efficiency.
That's pretty amazing.
Mhm.
So where does the cloud fit into all this? We talked about Alibaba's cloud strategy earlier.
Right. Well, the cloud is basically the backbone of all their AI ambitions. It provides the infrastructure, the computing power, all the stuff you need to develop and run these sophisticated AI applications.
So they're not just using AI themselves, they're also building a platform for other businesses to use AI.
Exactly. They want to be the go-to provider for anyone who wants to leverage the power of AI, regardless of their size or industry.
That's a pretty smart strategy. It positions them as a leader in the AI space.
Mm.
But, these massive investments, they can't be cheap. Did they talk about the impact on their cloud margins?
Yeah, they did acknowledge that there's some margin pressure right now, but, they're pointing to the huge growth in demand for AI inference. That's a major driver of cloud revenue these days.
So they're basically saying, yeah, it's costing us money now, but the payoff will be worth it.
Yeah, that's the bet they're making. And a lot of analysts seem to agree. AI is seen as the next big growth engine for the tech industry, and Alibaba wants to be at the forefront of that.
Right, it's a long-term play. But what about their shareholders? Did they address how these investments will translate into shareholder value?
Yeah, they did emphasize their commitment to shareholder returns. They highlighted that they still have a significant amount set aside for share buybacks, and they talked about their strong cash flow and their disciplined approach to capital allocation.
Okay, so that should give investors some comfort that they're not just throwing money at AI without a plan.
Exactly. They're trying to strike a balance between investing for the future and delivering value to their shareholders today.
All right, that makes sense. Now, shifting gears a bit, they've also been divesting some of their physical retail assets like InTime and SunArt. What's the thinking behind that?
Well, it seems like they're really focusing on their core strengths, doubling down on e-commerce, cloud computing, and AI, and shedding businesses that aren't as strategic or that are facing tougher competition.
So it's a strategic realignment, focusing on the areas where they have a clear advantage.
Exactly. It's all about maximizing their resources and positioning themselves for long-term growth.
That makes sense. But what about some of their other assets like Freshippo, Youku, and Ellie.me? What did they say about those?
Well, they didn't give any specific details, but they did say that they're open to exploring different options for those businesses. They highlighted Freshippo's success and profitability, but they're not ruling anything out in terms of strategic partnerships or other ways to maximize their value.
So it's a wait-and-see approach. They're being opportunistic, looking for the best way to leverage those assets.
Yeah, exactly. They're staying flexible, keeping their options open.
Well, this has been a fascinating conversation. We've covered a lot of ground, from Alibaba's AI strategy to the broader trends shaping the industry and the ethical considerations we need to be thinking about.
Yeah, it's been a great discussion.
It's clear that AI is not just some passing fad. It's a fundamental shift that's going to have a profound impact on all of us.
Absolutely. And Alibaba is definitely one to watch. They're making bold moves, and they're clearly committed to shaping the future of AI.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Quarterly Call. For more episodes, please remember to rate and follow our show. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.